Almost a year ago, I played Call of the Sea, an inversion of Lovecraftian horror and one of the best narrative puzzle games I've ever played. I miss you, Nora. Wherever you are, I hope you're happy there. But that was then. Now we are playing Out of the Blue's follow-up game, American Arcadia. I first spotted this game back in September's Next Fest, and it has been eagerly awaited ever since. While on the surface it's a cinematic platformer in the vein of Limbo and Planet of Lana, the heights it ascends to are incredible. Narrative and mechanics are equally innovative here, creating what should surely be a second masterwork for Out of the Blue. This game is made out of spoilers. Do not take that warning lightly. There are spoilers in the opening credits, though you won't notice until later. So if you trust my recommendations at all, then go play American Arcadia. Also, You Will Die Here Tonight is well worth your money. So what do we have here? Like I said, spoilers. There is only one fact I feel safe disclosing without spoiling anything. This turtle, his name is Kovacs. There, that's it. But if that didn't convince you, then let's set the stage. Back in the 1960s, there was no Walt Disney. Instead, we had Elijah Walton, a man with a dream, to create the city of the future. Safe, clean, technologically advanced, a veritable Eden for those who lived in it. Funded by the money Elijah made from such hits as The Dame Shot First, Modern Witchcraft, and Whoa. Built on the technology of our pad Kovacs, contemporary scientist and namesake for Trevor's turtle. It was Epcot Center, yeah, it was basically Epcot. Unfortunately, that dream died with Elijah and mutated into something very different under his brother Don Walton. Instead of a social achievement, Don used the tech and money to create New Arcadia, a literal city under glass. Citizens of Arcadia have access to free healthcare, good-paying jobs, and advanced technology meant to ease and facilitate life. Everything that old Arcadia promised, but on a metropolitan scale. Oh, and one other thing. Their lives would be monitored from birth to death for the entertainment of the masses living outside the dome. If you didn't know that, don't feel bad, neither do the Arcadians. I told you this game was made out of spoilers, didn't I? But don't worry, most of what you're seeing here is actually in the trailers and promotional material. The real game doesn't start here, it starts here. Meet Trevor Hills, senior account manager at the data firm INAC, home to one of the most advanced supercomputer networks in the world. In this footage, he's giving a deposition, describing himself as the most popular person in Arcadia and wondering if he still has his job. This leads us to where the game really starts. Here, with Trevor fleeing a crashed vehicle, a helicopter in pursuit. Only when we reach the end of this sequence do we get to where the game really for sure starts. Trevor waking up 9 days before his life went to hell. The art style in American Arcadia is pretty unique. They really went low poly with it, which is not how they handled Call of the Sea. The look of the characters can be a little odd at first, the whole dot pupils for eyes and blocky figures. Truth be told, this cat is outright nightmarish. That said, it grew on me, as did the sense of place and time expressed from the game's setting.
Straight from the good old 70s.
Good old 70s!
Everything within Arcadia is colorful, stylized, and bathed in warm glow. But everything outside in the real world is cold, sterile, and polished to a mirror shine. It really sells both the mythical paradise and the labor it takes to maintain it. Trevor lives his life in what we might call a rut. His only friend is his work buddy Gus and his turtle Kovacs, of course. He spends his days going to work, then coming home to relax. He seems good at his job, gets along with his coworkers. He has complaints about management, but no real ambition to climb higher in the company. Some people just really enjoy the grind, I guess. But when your life is that routine, it doesn't take much to shake it up. Having Gus vanish one day with no explanation leaves him with extra work. Hearing Gus won a travel grant that Trevor is sure he didn't apply for is very concerning. Having the lights go out and blare out of the intercom says, okay, that's beyond weird. And it gets weirder. Day by day, weird happenings are getting more frequent. Electronics malfunction, televisions display him in real time, and then he gets a message which is hard to misinterpret. This is when the running starts, because whatever happened to Gus, Trevor is next on the list. The only chance he has to survive is to get out of Arcadia, and his only hope is a hacker who goes by the name Kovacs, like his turtle.
Dude, why do you keep bringing your turtle into this conversation?
What follows is Trevor, a 28-year-old accountant clambering and sprinting through beautiful set pieces with the dogs of the Walton Media Company on his tail. Being detected means a nice taser to the face. He'll have to cross the whole of Arcadia and beyond to find his freedom. But to do that, he'll need Kovacs' help. You see, there's another dimension to this game. Literally. When I played the demo, this moment blew my mind, though if you've seen the trailer it might not have come as a surprise. See, Kovacs is too good for that basic platforming crap. Her sections are sophisticated first-person puzzle experiences that really immerse you in the backstage of American Arcadia. Who is Kovacs? Well, some time ago, just before Vivian Walton, Elijah's granddaughter, took over the company, there was an incident. 6 Arcadians escaped. The fallout and the footage of security trying to chase them down resulted in some bad publicity for Walton Media. It also fueled the creation of Breakout, an activist group seeking freedom for the thousands of legal American citizens being kept in Arcadia. Kovacs didn't join Walton Media as a mole, but became associated with Breakout after enough time behind the scenes disillusioned her on Arcadia, particularly on Vivian Walton.
Vivian Walton is a horrible person?
I think evil bitch describes her better.
When they let her know what was about to happen to Trevor, she put a plan into action, using her understanding of the system to send him messages and, hopefully, save his life. And why do they want to kill Trevor? Remember how I said he lived his life in a rut? Well, no one wants to watch the same thing over and over again. You don't get sponsorships that way. And with Walton experiencing negative growth, certain costs need to be cut. That's right. From Vivian Walton's perspective, Trevor Hills is too boring to live. A concept that does not sit well with Kovacs, hence her willingness to risk her freedom to try and get his. And it is not going to be an easy road. After the Breakout 6, Arcadia has put new measures and new people in charge of making sure it never happens again. She'll have to navigate both Walton's infrastructure and its personnel to secure the resources and access needed to break into the company's most secure areas and witness its darkest secrets. All to save a man she doesn't really know. What follows is a mechanically brilliant treatise on human life as entertainment and the innate value of humanity. It might seem like I'm reaching there, and maybe I am, but Out of the Blue made something special here, kids. See, Arcadia is meant to be entertaining, but humans are not by default an amusing species. They can't even put 6 pretty people on a beach without editing the footage so they look stupid or horrible. Arcadia is no different. While most of the citizens are born Arcadians, the city is dotted with non-protagonist characters, NPCs. These aren't backstage actors and technicians. Their job isn't to keep the lights on, it's to keep the drama on. These people can be bosses, co-workers, drinking buddies, girlfriends, even spouses on occasion. The entire Arcadian football team is made up of NPCs. We aren't introduced to any of them unless you count Vivian, who is a known figure in both worlds, but what they get is interesting to speculate on. Money, certainly. Job security, perhaps, especially if they get close to someone famous. But maybe the most valuable thing an NPC gets is the privilege of living inside Arcadia, a place where the problems and strife of the outside world just don't exist. It's a cage, yes, but the gilding is top-notch. One of Trevor's neighbors is one, and has lived there ever since Trevor was a child. Smart Money says he'll retire there. All this is to say that the reality viewers of American Arcadia experience is not reality. Even with unscripted, unknowing actors, storylines are being generated and followed at the behest of NPCs guiding the Arcadians from one drama to another for the sake of ratings. How would they feel, knowing that singles mixer their friend brings them to every week is being recorded, and that their friend is being paid not to help them find a stable, loving relationship, but a quick fling that'll make for great material? We don't come to the real world for entertainment, which is why Walton Media spends so much making their bottled city perform for the audience. And this circles back around to Trevor. Trevor lives a mundane life, but he likes it that way. And that means he is not American Arcadia material. Does a person have value even if they produce nothing? Because that's what Trevor is. INAC, the company he works for, is fake. His office is fake. The pneumatic tubes full of data he spends all day processing just end up in a landfill. INAC, and thus Trevor, brings in no money. Trevor's actual job is to be a dancing monkey. He's supposed to get into fights, get into relationships, strive for the top so the puppet masters can set up rivalries. In those terms, Trevor is actually very, very bad at his job. Terrible, really, because the company that employs him is also meeting all his personal and entertainment needs. Everything Trevor has, from his sweater vest to his turtle, is part of a set and costume department owned by Walton Media. And if he's not going to perform, he's out. This judgment is not being cast by Walton, though. It's cast by the viewers who have judged a comfortable routine not worthwhile. And that extends past the microcosm of Arcadia into the real world. Why do we judge certain jobs unskilled or for teenagers? Why are we constantly striving for greater things with the threat of homelessness and death if we fail to live up to expectations? Why can't someone just find a job they're happy with and stay there without fearing they'll lose what life they've built up? Well, for the same reason the Arcadians can't. Trevor's life is not ostentatious. He has his home, his pet, his television. His biggest luxury is a piano. How much could this man be spending that Walton couldn't justify the cost? Especially when they created the world he lives in and his circumstances. Trevor has no value to Walton or to America at large because he's not helping achieve profit. The only person who sees any value in him and his life is Kovacs. At this point, it's time to enter spoiler territory, and boy oh boy are there going to be spoilers. So if you want to avoid them, pop over to this time where we'll talk about where American Arcadia really innovates. So before we get to the lies, let's talk about the liars. We've mentioned Vivian Walton, long-lost granddaughter of Don Walton, the host, personality, and public face of American Arcadia, an excellent actress and downright horrible person as soon as the mask slips.
His name is Trevor Hills, a 28-year-old account manager with no friends and a boring life that nobody gives two shits about.
Vivian is that special kind of evil that offends the very core of decent human beings. She has a talent for putting good faces on everything while making you question your own experiences. It's the kind of political, corporate evil that keeps people on its side by insisting there are two sides to every story, and so both sides must be equally valid. But Vivian also doesn't like to get her hands dirty. Meet Marcus Javert. Yes, I'm pronouncing that correctly. The tough as nails, don't question my methods chief of Arcadia's security. If Vivian is the king, Marcus is the knight. Or maybe rook, that one's more powerful. He will be the main antagonist for both Kovacs and Trevor. Dogging their heels, interrogating them, employing mind control devices, calling in choppers, Marcus Javert even haunts Trevor in his dreams, the very personification of the manhunt after him. I mean, even Vivian asks him to tone it down once in a while.
You don't need to overdo your thing, all the time.
Combined, these two have orchestrated a 2-day-long hunt where Trevor and Kovacs have been hurt, threatened, terrorized, and even tortured, culminating in Trevor turning away his chance at freedom to employ a failsafe that will bring down the walls, destroying Vivian's garden once and for all. At the same time, Kovacs is cornered by Javert, who is strangely unfazed at having a weapon pointed at him. Big spoiler in 3, 2, 1.
You weren't supposed to shoot me, you crazy bitch!
Everything Vivian does, everything in her Arcadia, is a lie. This was never about killing Trevor. It was about finding a way to make him profitable. This manhunt has been televised from minute one and ratings are through the roof. Marcus Javert is actually an actor named Terrence Robinson. He wasn't hired, he was cast, and he was not prepared for Kovacs to go off script. Suddenly, so many things make sense. Why Javert was always so over the top, why the chopper couldn't seem to hit Trevor, why his favorite car was the only one charged and ready for an escape, how the chief's name was freaking Javert. Even Vivian is not who she seems to be. Good plot twists recontextualize the story, transforming events you thought you understood while putting together pieces you might not have even noticed. Out of the Blue did this expertly with American Arcadia. But the public are only seeing a carefully edited version of events, the one Walton Media wants them to see. They're leaving out the most dangerous or ethically compromised decisions. It's being curated as a lead-up to a brand new series, Escape from Arcadia. Because even a carefully curated reality is only entertaining for so long before the ante must be upped. The only thing they didn't account for was Kovacs. But if you want to know how all that plays out, then I suggest you play the game yourself. It's more than worth your time. Hell, bring someone in the room to watch. It's that entertaining. And with that, let's leave spoiler territory behind. And after 5 nights, the murder stopped. Welcome back, everyone. The last thing I want to talk about is what American Arcadia does best, aside from the narrative. Earlier, I said that Trevor's sections were 2D platformers while Kovacs' sections were first-person puzzlers. This was a bit misleading in that the concept of section is very hard to define. Most of the time, you won't be playing as one or the other, you'll be playing both. What this creates is the first second-person perspective I've seen achieved in a video game. In most puzzles, you will have the option to flip between a camera focused on Trevor and random CCTV cameras in the city. While in those CCTV cameras, you, as Kovacs, can use your hacking skills to manipulate environmental machinery. But that isn't the entirety of the collaboration, because Kovacs is a character herself, with her own objectives to achieve. Every now and then, Kovacs and Trevor find themselves out of communication and have to operate without the other. Even then, their goals usually align, and as their bond grows stronger, Trevor starts finding ways to help Kovacs too, despite being far away and on the run. Nowhere is this melding of the first and third person better executed than the interrogation scene. Chief Javert, the head of Arcadia Security, has suspicions about Kovacs and proceeds to ask her a set of assessment questions to test her loyalty. While this is happening, Trevor is trying to make his way through a park while Javert's agents search for him. If either slip up, Javert will be onto them. This was something I had never experienced in a game before. Just when you need to put your attention on one side, the other pops up. So platform with one stick and answer with the other and know that your lives depend on it. It's brilliant, I tell you, brilliant. Forget what I said about second person. This is a single-player cooperative game where you are trying your darndest to work with yourself, and that alone is more than worth the price of admission. There are small problems here and there. During one chase, Javert just bugged out and I had to restart. Some puzzles come at you so fast you don't have a prayer of solving them first try. And there's one kind of big plot hole I didn't talk about, but mainly because I didn't care about it until a long time after. American Arcadia is one of those games that comes out of nowhere, drops something incredible on the table, and walks away. Nothing it does is totally new, but the way they mix older concepts creates something unique, something memorable, with a cast of characters who are just as fleshed out and well-rounded as the mechanics. This is the kind of game that deserves to be studied. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is American Arcadia, my shiny new game. Thanks for playing, everyone.